to my last Artist Way week 12 recap video. My very last recap video. Let's get into it. So I want to talk about my whole 3 months, 12-week journey in this video. But first I want to go through what this week was about and what I took from it. The first thing I wrote down was this quote: "The universe will always support affirmative action." Recently, I have been really focused on doing things that, you know, I feel the urge to do, doing things that I've been thinking about for a long time, ticking things off my bucket list, but then also ticking things off my list that has just been weighing on me for a long time and that I could just do. The only thing keeping me back is my own mind. And it's been very, very, very rewarding mentally to surpass that mental challenge. I wrote this quote from a guy called Joseph Campbell. I don't know him personally at all. Who is he? Let me just Google it. Joseph Campbell. He's a writer. Okay, cute. He said, "Follow your bliss and doors will open where there were no doors before." I agree. Recently, I've really been called to live in this more flowy and blissful state of just whatever urge I have, whatever kind of inspiration I have, I need to follow it. And it doesn't have to just be related to work things or things related to my goals. It can literally just be experiences that I can do right now that I want to have. I need to follow that bliss instead of holding myself back because I feel like I have to wait. I have to wait for things when I don't. I think the best way to get what you want in life is to literally live it already. Another thing from this week was, it was talking a lot about how when you are going for what you want, when you're planting the seed of a creative endeavor that you have, that you will encounter tests on your way. And I wrote some notes to that. I wrote, "I think I failed many tests in the past without even realizing it, because as soon as something is out of my comfort zone, there's a risk of sabotaging because it feels unsafe. But now I'm in a place where I have found nervous system regulation, like different practices and positive mindset tools. So I feel like I'm in a place where I am much better at handling these tests that do come my way." Like, for an example, the fact that I just said that recently I have been following my bliss and I've been doing things that I have been thinking about for a long time, and some of these are work related. I feel like because I knew about nervous system regulation, it was like possible for me to kind of do a good job and feel proud of myself, and not just, a lot of times what I do is like I rush the process because I just want to get it over with, because I don't trust myself essentially enough to know that I can make a good product. So I just wanted to get it done so I don't have to think about it. It's not like weighing on me. And this time around, recently, with different things regarding work and stuff, I have been slowing down and doing a much better job, and I'm so much more proud of the things that I've been doing lately. And I think, you know, this is the only way to grow. You cannot be comfortable 24/7 and expect to, you know, learn new things and get from A to B. Listen to your body and just like calm yourself down whenever you feel too anxious. I also wrote in my notes that I am kind of almost excited to experience more tests going forward, because I feel like every test that you pass, you're kind of like leveling up in a sense. I have so many big goals and dreams that I'm not gonna settle for anything less than that at all, ever. But in order for me to get there, I do have to work with my mind, first of all, instead of against it. And I do have to allow myself to feel the human emotions that come with it. You know, my life, I think, is just to grow as much as possible and learn as much as possible and get out of my comfort zone as much as possible, but in a loving way, because essentially what I want is to get to the other side of it and experience amazing things. This week it was also talking about trusting and letting go of control, that whenever you put out an intention, you plant a seed, you need to just trust that that is all you need to do in terms of knowing the how of the end result. I think that I totally understand that, and I think I'm actually at a pretty good place with letting go of control. It is like a consistent thing I need to remind myself, though. I'm not fully a surrender queen yet. Okay, so I wrote some notes in regards to this as well. I'm more than ready to not be overly aware of my day-to-day progress, which you know, it's perfect timing that this is my last week of the Artist Way, because partly I've been really enjoying doing these video journals. Like, it's been kind of fun to recap the week like this, and you know, it's kind of encouraged me to think about what I've done the past week in relations to this book. It's kind of like if you go to school and you have to do an assignment, and that's kind of like, you know, like making it stick more, like the information of it all. I also think that if I'm overly conscious about how far I've come 24/7, I am not living in a flow, and I'm not trusting that I am getting somewhere, you know? I am ready to live my life to the fullest and let my art and work be reflected by that. Which is, I think, the most beautiful conclusion you could get to. It's like, yeah, I'm really at a point where I have joy for life, and I'm excited to just do things and be present with it. Okay, so that was week 12. I'm gonna just like quickly recap the last 12 weeks in general, just to do a full-on conclusion of The Artist Way and my full like opinion and final review of the book and the journey as a whole. I think, first of all, this book is such a personal thing depending on where you are in life. You're gonna resonate with some things and maybe not with others, and I think it's totally fair and valid. I think as a program, I think it's really well set up, and I think there are many great exercises in it, and I think the first time I did it, I got so much out of it, and I thought it was amazing. I think this time around, it was not super eye-opening, and a lot of times I actually got a bit annoyed that I decided to do it, because I decided to commit to it, so I wanted to finish it, and I wasn't gonna give up, and I wasn't going to give up if it got hard or anything, but it felt like I, you know, had already done a curriculum before, and I was repeating a curriculum that I already passed, kind of, you know what I mean? In the beginning of this journey, I was much more excited about it, and I thought it was great because I needed an anchor at that time. Eventually, as it kind of went on, I realized that I actually know so many things for myself, like what I need to do at different times. I think it's amazing actually to get to that conclusion that I didn't need that much guidance or help anymore. I think that the last year, so way before I started doing The Artist Way, I, by choice, honestly the last 2 years, spent a lot of time alone on purpose, where I really went deep in on meditations and kind of looking at myself, like processing so many things and diving into a lot of spiritual practices. It was kind of like the dark soul of the night. It's like what some people call it. I would agree, that's what I went through. And when I started doing The Artist Way, let me set the scene for you. I had just escaped this freaky roommate that I found online, who turned out to be like kind of predatory and taking advantage of the housing crisis as well as young women. So I had just left that. I was in the process of quitting my service industry job that I had only had for a year, but prior to that I'd worked in the service industry my whole life. It just felt like I had in some ways downgraded my life more and more, like since being done with university. I was super fed up, and so that's where I was at in life when I started this book. And then kind of mid-journey, I was living in Berlin, which is like where the roommate situation was. I've been living in Berlin like for years now. So I was like in Berlin in a temporary apartment for a month after the whole roommate situation, and I was finishing up my work. I was working as a housekeeper at the time for private clients. That month was very restless for me. I was just like in the middle of it all, and I just felt like physically draining. I just couldn't rest. I didn't feel like myself. I was barely doing The Artist Way because I was literally trying my best to never be home. I was in a flat share as well, so I was like living with people that I didn't know. I had just gone through something traumatizing, actually. Let's not sugarcoat it. And then I went to stay with my family for the summer for like a month, and that was kind of like mid to end of The Artist Way. I started feeling so much better because I actually had a nice place to sleep that didn't fucking smell rotten, and I didn't have a freaky weird person in there who was like lying about his whole identity. And I didn't fear like anything, you know. So I was just floating around, like being kind of on holiday, kind of. And I think that's also why I wasn't feeling so challenged in those weeks anyway, because like there's nothing really challenging happening in my life. Like I was on vacation, like I was just with my family. I was just chilling out on purpose, like doing very chill, non-threatening things. The last 3 weeks of Artist Way, I have been kind of getting into life again, but in a new way. And I really feel like, not just feel like, I am doing life very differently. That life I had only like not even 2 months ago feels so far away in the best way possible. I genuinely feel like a new person. Well, I don't feel like a new person, I feel like myself. I feel like I got parts of myself back that was lacking a little bit because I was in survival mode for a long time and I was just finding it really difficult to be excited about the future and actually look forward to anything. And yeah, it was a tough time, actually. It was a very tough time, and I, handled it the best way that I could, and I don't regret the last year especially that I really was like working on myself. Actually have gained a super positive mindset the last year somehow. Well, especially the last 6 months, I would say. Like this year, last 8 months, I don't know. So despite all of it, I've kept that positive mindset and I'm walking into a very exciting time and I feel very hopeful. And yeah, I still feel nervous about a lot of things because I'm like, now I'm actually doing it. Actually getting out of my comfort zone again for the first time in a very long time. And these are, I'm getting out of my comfort zone for things that are actually way more exciting than what I've done the last year and a half. Yeah, I still have times where I feel overwhelmed, sad, like that's just human and that's fucking okay. You can feel these things, I can feel these things, but still decide that I need to be on the right path and I cannot just keep living a life that I don't want to live, and I have the freedom to choose, and why not use that freedom? Change is very necessary and I'm so ready for it. I'm so ready to build up that momentum. I think that's also what's been missing, and the Artist Way has definitely helped partly with like building up a momentum, and all these like bad things that happened the last year on a personal level for me has eventually driven me to build up that momentum of like, fuck it, I want better for myself and I know I can make my life better because of what they're about. So I could keep rambling on forever actually, because I feel like I guess it's my last recap video, you know what I mean? Like I don't want it to end. For now, this was my Artist Way journey. Yeah, that's all. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you soon with something completely different. Alright.